All right, yeah, I got a huge question for 2K, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are curious as well. As you know, 2K is moving toward a tiered system on NBA 2K23, and I kind of want to read off from this point of the courtside report that they recently released, and is right up here. And this is where it gets a little confusing, and there's just not much clarity on the tiered system for NBA 2K23 on next gen. It says this year we're moving to a tiered badge system. There are 16 badges per attribute category, which we understand that: finishing, playmaking, shooting, and defense and rebounding. So those are the 4 categories there. There's going to be 16 badges per category. You're going to have 8 badges in tier 1, 4 badges in tier 2, and 4 badges in tier 3. Three. All right, we got that. Tier 1 badges are the least powerful for your player, but also cost the least amount of badge points. Costs go up as you climb the tiers and acquire more impactful badges. The basic idea is that you'll need to equip a certain number of badges in the lower tiers before you can equip the badges in the highest tiers. So after reading that small segment right there of this year's courtside report for NBA 2K23, what's the first question that comes to mind? My first question was, how do you move up in the tiered system, and what badges are going to be in tier 1? How does 2K determine that? Is it going to be bronze badges and then have a similar badge in tier 1 and tier 3 but at a higher level? That's one question that needs to be answered. Or is it going to be specific badges set to tier 1, similar to the difference in slippery off ball versus blinders? Blinders a much more impactful badge than slippery off ball. Maybe slippery off ball volume shooter would be a tier 1 badge, not costing you guys many badge points, but something like blinders and the agent 3 badge will be in the tier 3 category. So there's a little bit of confusion as to how we can go up in these tiers. I think we need much more clarity in regards to the new tier badge system that they're planning to incorporate into NBA 2K23. I would love to know some more details. If you guys got any additional feedback on this, I would love to hear your thoughts as well, because if they're gonna have like a bronze badge in the tier 1 category, you're not gonna waste nearly as many badge points for bronze badges if they're in the tier 1 category. But if the same badge at a higher level would be in tier 2 or tier 3, that's understandable. But there is only 16 badges per category, so it's a little confusing. I would definitely like some clarity on this. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there are wondering the same thing. How do we move up in the tiers? And it says here, the basic idea is that you'll need to equip a certain number of badges in the lower tiers before you can equip badges in the highest tier. So maybe there's a cap in the tier 1 category, like you need to unlock maybe 5 badges out of tier 1 in order to unlock the tier 2 category of badges. That's one option as well. It also goes without saying that if you're equipping tier 3 badges, they better have way more impact than a tier 1 badge. That's something that 2K players have definitely been troubled about in previous versions of 2K. These badges are just like not nearly as impactful as other badges, which is why 2K is trying to implement this new system so that you can allocate your badges accordingly to the best that suit your play style. One other thing that I wanted to touch base on is the idea that if these more impactful badges at the higher levels, if it's not a matter of like bronze versus Hall of Fame from tier 1 to tier 3, these more impactful badges will not be at your disposal when you start out playing with your players. So again, like most players, when they create some sort of like playmaking shot creator build, if you're going for playmaking badges, you may want to look to quick first step as one of the first badges that you equip, maybe even, or handles for days, things like this that help your player. If these are going to be in the tier 3 category, then you're not going to be able to equip those badges off rip. They'll have to be unlocked through the tier level. So I don't think a lot of you guys understood what this actually meant. If it is going to be a tier 3 badge, you're not going to have that immediately when you create your player. So definitely keep that in mind. It's going to create somewhat of a skill gap. At least that's my first impression. It may be creating a skill gap where players that don't have their my player build progress throughout the badge system, they're gonna suffer to players who have a heavy progression within their badge count. And hopefully that's noticeable on the floor. Y'all let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section below. Mash that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Easy, y'all.